Long ago there were three mighty dragon siblings. The eldest was the golden Sybaris. He was true, noble, and just. Next was Eberron, less powerful than his elder brother, but much more kind and mild. Eberron loved peace and acted as a mediator between Sybaris and their young sister Kyber. Kyber was intelligent and cunning. Her ambition knew no bounds. She thought her brothers were naive, so she struck down Sybaris in order to gain power. Eberron tried to fight against her, but lacked the strength to do so. So he defeated her the only way he knew how. He wrapped himself around her, and sealed the two of them into the land we now call Eberron. Eberron is home to many mighty lands, the greatest of which lie on the continent of Corvair. Despite the unification efforts of King Galifar I, it was inevitable that war would break out. This war would be the war to end all wars, the last war. This story takes place in the aftermath of that war. Though the Treaty of Thronehold put a stop to the last war, not every nation was happy with the terms of that treaty, and tensions run high. Nowhere is this better shown than the city of Sharn. Sharn is the largest city in all Corvair, almost a nation in its own right. Sharn acts as a microcosm of the entire continent. You can find anything there, for better or for worse. Welcome to Dungeons That Drag On. Allow me to introduce you to the grand world of Eberron. Specifically, the city of Sharn in the month of Zerantir on the day of Zol. Today in Sharn, we pan in to a small gray cell. And in that cell, there are a few colorful characters who've been framed for a crime that they may or may not have committed. And a voice calls from behind the door, says, "Next!" and the door swings open as our first convict steps out ready to have their information processed before they are put to trial. State your name. Jonah, would you like to describe your character?
Well, my name's Slugger Eagle Eye. I'm wearing a dirty white Hindley. So stained though, it looks about brown. Wearing a brown trench coat, some baggy pants, wearing some boots, but they got gaiters wrapped up to my knees. I've got MMA wraps all around my hands. They're all blood stained and all that. I've got grayish, greenish skin, slick back, grizzled hair. I'm a half orc and I have one snaggle tooth that I shove my stogie on.
Very nice.
I also have a pair of trench knives strapped across my back.
Well, not right now, you don't.
No, I've been taken.
Yes. Alright. As you are brought forth, they hold up a scroll in front of you. There's a small gnomish woman who looks to be rather unpleasant. And she holds up like a scroll in front of you, and she unrolls it and points it at your face, and it flashes a bright white. And as you look at it, you can see ink quickly drawing a photorealistic sketch of your face. And she just writes Slugger on the bottom with a quill pen, then rolls the scroll up, puts it in a scroll case, and sets it down on her desk. She then stamps your hand with a stamp that just says like a prison number on it, basically, like number processed. Yours is 432. And she says, "Back to your cell. Next." Nate, would you like to describe your character?
In walks a large figure. As he walks in, you can kind of feel the ground kind of wobble as a giant 6'7" Warforged enters the room and just says, "My name is Failsafe. I am a Warforged of House Cannon."
She says, "Yep, sure thing, honey." And she holds up another one of those scrolls, unrolls it. Again, there's a flash, and the ink quickly sketches itself into your facial features as she rolls it up, shoves it in a scroll case, grabs your hand, stamps it, 433, It says back to your cell. Next. Nathaniel, would you like to describe your character?
All right. Vesua Lad is a young man, young Kalishtar, wearing. He's got on, right now at the moment. He's just got on some simple black robes and a purple bandana around his head. He's got somewhat of a symmetrical looking face, shoulder length, black hair.
Nice. Again, as you step forward, scroll, flash, sketch, shoves it in the case, stamps your hand. 444 or 434, yes. And she asks you to please report back to your cell as you are locked in a very small square, probably like 10 by 10 room with these two buffoons. There's like 2 beds kind of like chained from the walls. There's a bucket in the corner. And there's some bars. There's some bars on the wall, and that's about it.
I
There's only
rub
2
my,
beds.
my scratched eye, and I turn to everyone and I say, hey, did all of us experience the same thing?
What are you referring to?
Well, I remember we were going after a guy that stole a thing from the scroll maker, and all of a sudden the chairman was there, and we were the people stealing the thing.
Yeah, I don't know anything. I don't know anything more than you do. I gotta glance towards the door. Is there any guards visible just standing right outside?
Not right outside of your cell. You guys are in a cell block, although this one appears to be rather empty. Not too many perpetrators in here. And as you look kind of down the hallway, there's some sentries kind of just patrolling up and down. Not really seem to paying you guys much heed.
Like,
Just kind of doing their job.
okay.
Mhm.
All right. Just worried about just for people hearing us.
Yeah. No, they're whistling a tune. Not really paying much attention. It's kind of their business not to pay attention to the prisoners too much.
I appreciate that from the prisoner's perspective.
Yeah.
All right. I look towards Slugger and say, "Do you know this chairman guy? Have you had business with him before? Seems
Have I?
a bit odd for him to frame us out of nowhere."
Well, I was on a case. I think she's a dwarf. She asked me to keep an eye on him. He's been acting weird, so I just supposed to see what he's up to, and well, he's up to something, all right.
Well, maybe just didn't want you on this trail. Figured that this would be the best way to get you off.
Yeah. What about you? What do you know about this owl man?
I doubt he knew about your existence before today. I suspect that we stumbled upon him, and now here we are.
Yeah, getting in too deep, just like how I always does.
So you had this kind of thing happen before, and I gesture around this little bleak cell we're in.
Every once in a while, for some illegal tussles, and small stuff like that. But I went
Yeah,
off.
small stuff. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
While
Well, it does
you
kind of
guys-
remind me.
While you guys are here in this prison cell, is there anything in particular that you'd like to do or like to say?
Probably want to ask Failsafe here. What's his deal?
Just in general.
Well, he's saying. I'll get to it. So I got to wave over at Failsafe and say, "Hey, you Tin Can. You said you work for the House Cannon. Why
That's
are
correct.
you here?
Because I got arrested. Because of
Yeah,
you guys.
Don't you have those strings to pull on, right?
Well, the House Cannith doesn't have a whole lot of weight outside of their community. I mean, House Cannith is excellent and all, but I doubt these prison guards are going to care that I'm affiliated with the house. They did mention that my trial will be slightly different because I am associated with them, but I think my fate will be very similar to yours, as far as a trial or a sentencing of some kind.
All right. Just gonna nod. What was the yellow thing on there? Is that just painted on him, or is that something he's wearing? Does he still have that?
No, you said you had some yellow accent colors painted on your armor?
It was more of a glow, like underneath, like joints, like cracks in the armor. That's like kind of just like a, just kind of like an accent glow kind of vibe.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Like a keyboard.
I guess I could be sitting on the opposite side of the cell from him.
Gotcha. Understandable. Understandable. Have a nice day. All right. Well, if that's all you guys want to go on, your day is going to pass in this cell as you await to be called forth to your trial. Do any of you have a lawyer? I don't believe so.
If they provide one, I'll take
I'm
one.
gonna guess my character wouldn't.
You think you would have a lawyer?
My lawyer is +2 charisma. That's my lawyer.
Fair.
Yeah.
Very fair. All right.
Yeah.
Well, the day passes. You're in your cell. They come by with like a tray of shabby lunch at some point. It's just like some crusts of stale bread, some water.
I've had worse.
I haven't.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you were almost born yesterday. Anyway,
week
the day
and
comes
yesterday.
and that same kind of gnomish woman, still very unpleasant looking, just does not look happy to be here. She says, 432, 433, 34, it's time for your trial. Please come this way. And some guards come forward and they open up your cell and they handcuff you guys together. Your handcuffs are all chained together actually in a line, and they start leading you towards the trial room. You're led kind of through like a maze of hallways and different staircases and stuff until you're brought forth into a round room. Looks almost kind of like an amphitheater almost, but like much smaller and for trials. So there's some seats if it was a rather like important trial, but not really filled at this point. There's kind of like a magistrate looking guy. He looks to be like a head of the guard or some high ranking officer in the town guard. He is there. Councilman Hruitt is not here, even though he did accuse you guys directly. He has sent a representative of his office there, so one of his proxies is here. Additionally, off to the side, almost like where the jury would sit, but in like their own section, there are two very richly adorned figures here. Nate, you recognize the colors of one of them. It is a House Cannith representative. And the other one is a large half-orc man bearing the colors of House Thrashk.
Ah, great.
Anyways, you guys are brought forward, and you are seated. The other person who's here is Corin, the owner of Corin's Quill, the man whose store was burgled, small gnomish man. And you guys... no,
what
his
was
name
his
isn't
name again?
Corin. His name is... Corin's Quill is the store. His name is Shinjo. Shinjo.
Right, because it was a yeah.
With an X.
Yeah.
As in, like, the Chinese way to do it. Yes, so his name is Shinjo.
I'm sure we'll be corrected if we're saying it the wrong way.
Yes. Yeah. So Shinjo is seated off to one side. And, you know, the magistrate who's sitting there, he looks kind of bored. He's just an average-looking human man. He bangs his gavel. He says, "Order. Trial commence. The court would like to recognize representatives of Houses Cannith and Thrashk. Councilman Hruitt was unable to attend, so he has sent a proxy in his stead. I will be presiding over this trial. Would the prosecution like to press some charges here?" And Shinjo steps forward and he's like, "Yes, you see, these young gentlemen robbed me of my store." "And what is exactly that they robbed, sir?" They took They took this scroll, you see. It's very old. It's a very old scroll. What was the scroll, sir? Well, no one knows, you see. It was an antique piece. What was it worth? I'm a map salesman, not an antique dealer. So, an unknown item with unknown value was removed from your place of work by these gentlemen. Yes. How long was that piece in your store? Well, as long as I've had the store. It's one of the first pieces I collected, and you've never sold it. Well, no. It's a very ancient piece. All right. Well, would the defense like to dispute this claim? And he points kind of over to you guys.
Okay. I have two things I want to say. One's about us as a group, and the other one's about me personally. Now, he doesn't know what the heck we stole. I don't know what the heck we supposedly stole. He doesn't really seem to have his bearings straight. And if you look on my file, I've had multiple bad encounters with illusory magic, and I do believe that we have had another encounter with this because we were hired to hunt down the person and stole said scroll. By the time we caught this said person, we were the ones with the scroll, wearing their clothes and all. Now, I don't own any of those black clothes. I only have my beat-up street clothes.
Well, that's an intriguing story, but I'm afraid, sir, that it is just your word against his. I'm afraid I'm going to need a little bit more evidence than that. As you see, you were wearing the clothes in question, and the scroll was in your possession when you were apprehended. So that's, yes?
I do not wear clothes.
Fair. Fair. I'm told...
That's a problem.
I'm told we have some dragon-marked affiliates. It says on here that you, Mr. Failsafe, are affiliated with House Cannith.
That is correct.
He looks over at the House Cannith representative. He's like, excuse me, Mr. Cass. He's like, yes, Mr. Cass. Do you have any record of a failsafe? And he looks at you for a second, Nate. And he kind of looks at you and he pulls out like a scroll and he reads it and he's like, of him specifically, not necessarily. Of a failsafe, it's really more of a legend than a record. I choose not to comment. And he kind of just like rolls up his scroll and puts it back in his cloak and sits back towards his chair. And the magistrate just kind of like nods. He's like, okay. And you, Mr. Slugger, was it?
Yep.
You did not see it fit to tell us that you were affiliated with House Thrashk while you were being processed?
I want nothing to do with them.
And he's like, well, that's very interesting because I'm under the impression that you possess a dragon mark. Is that correct, sir?
I roll up the sleeve of my Henley and I show my bird tattoo with the beak that is the dragon mark. Well, I was born with it. I found it. I added to it when I joined the army.
He says, well, I find it highly unlikely, sir, that you are born with a dragon mark and not affiliated with the house that solely possesses said mark. Mr. And he's like, Logan. And he's like, yes, sorry, Mr. Logan, was it? Are you familiar with this man? And he looks at you for a second, Jonah. And he says, never seen this kid before in my life. I don't know where he came from, but he's got the mark, that much I can confirm. It's legit. I rest. And he just like sits back. The magistrate is like, okay. So let me just present the case as I see it. The councilman of our entire city district has accused and convicted you fellows for illegally obtaining an unknown item of unknown value that has been in a store shelf for how many years, mister? And he's like, I've had that for at least 45. And he's like, so this item hadn't been sold in 45 years. No one knows what it is or what it's worth. And you guys claim to have been framed, yet were caught with the item in question wearing the clothes of said perpetrators. So, yes, you don't. Yeah, I know. So, and he points over towards the representative from Councilman Pruitt. It is an elven man. He's like, so, Mr. Kydel, here's what I propose. I propose that we, seeing as how it appears as though no great harm has been done, I chalk this up to a petty smash and grab could have been performed on a dare. Do you have any motive for this? Do you have any?
Your Honor, we have no motive whatsoever to try and steal this artifact.
If you
So I
can
didn't
call
have
it that.
much motive from my own conscience to try and retrieve it once it had been stolen by the owner's request, and I gesture over to
Shinjo, yes.
Shinjo.
He looks over at Shinjo and he says, Shinjo, did you ask these men to retrieve that scroll for you? And Shinjo kind of looks puzzled for a moment. And he, like, scratches his wispy little white beard and he looks over at Mr. Kydel, the representative from Councilman Pruitt. And the elf just kind of, like, is staring off into the distance. And then Shinjo looks at you guys and he looks at the elf and he looks back at you guys and he's like, no, I don't believe I did.
That's a lot of goblin jerky.
And the magistrate's like, well, again, your word versus theirs. Listen, I have more pressing cases to get to. I'd like to wrap this up quickly. This is I don't even know what to call this. I will tell you what. Here's your options. He says, I will present to you two choices. You can either, for me, serve 1 month jail time, or you can serve 2 months of community service.
I'll take the service.
What constitutes as community service?
He says, well, you'll be appointed to you'll be restricted to this district of the city, and you'll be appointed to a overseer, and you'll have a representative of the town guard oversee your actions every so often, and you'll do work for whoever you're assigned to, and whatever they tell you to do.
Perhaps there's some witness from the store who can verify our story.
Yeah.
Right? There's gotta be.
He looks over and he's like, I mean, do you guys have any witnesses to call?
It was during the lunch rush, or was it supper? It was during a rush, so there's a lot of people around.
If I could perhaps produce,
We went into a couple diners looking for people. They talked to us. There was like a cobbler. There was a diner. We talked to around 3 or 4 people.
And he says, when did you talk to them?
A couple minutes after we supposedly stole the object.
Yes, during the time of the robbery, where we were supposed, by their story, we were supposed to be in the store, but we were out. We were searching for the people who did it, asking around.
And if you check my possessions, there's a half bottle of wine from a dumpster behind the diner.
And he says, yes, that definitely helps your case. And he says, again, I can't, even if I were to track down these folk, I still have the word of the councilman of our entire city ward prosecuting you here. That's a pretty hardy claim. There's not a lot I can do to refute that here. This is as good as it's gonna get for you. Jail time, community service. Take it or leave it.
Take the community service.
All right, Mr. Failsafe, was it?
Service for me as well.
All right. Well, I know you have some affiliations. You'll be assigned to your workplace shortly. If you would like to confer with your representative briefly, I'll give you 5 minutes if you need that.
Most definitely.
All right. So you're going to go step over and talk to Mr. Cass of House Cannith?
Yeah.
All right. So he kind of like nods at you, waves you over. And he's looking at you as you come over towards him. He's like, so, it really does exist. Like it wasn't a myth. I'm sorry, you have no idea what I'm talking about. My name is Cath. Cath. Blah, blah, blah. My name is Cass of House Cannith.
Pleasure to meet you. I am Failsafe.
So, from where most of the forges were all shut down, and he kind of like glances around and is like, "Yes, all of them." he looks at you for a second, and he's like, "You're new. You can't be more than." And he like looks around you for a second. He's like, "You can't be more than 2 weeks old. You must have been produced very recently. That's impossible."
I'm glad I'm finally talking to someone from Cannith, because the Creation Forge in Sire has been activated by a Warforged who identified himself as the Lord of Blades.
Really? Sire? That was supposed to have been destroyed years ago.
It was heavily damaged. Hence why it took so long for me to finish.
He's like, interesting. Very interesting. You're sure? He said it was the Lord of Blades. That's going to be a rough gig. Well, and he kind of like looks around. He's like, I'll see what I can do, pass words along to some higher-ups. That's not the kind of thing we can take care of in a day, and you're going to be tied up here for a minute. I can't really get you out of this one, so we'll be in touch. When you finish this whole gig up, come see me at the Dragon Spires, and we'll see if we can't get some forces together.
It's what I was trying to do this whole time.
He's like, yeah, crazy city. Well, thank you for your service. And he just like gives you a salute.
I just turn around and walk away. Go to wherever they're leading me or whatever.
Yeah. While this is also happening, Slugger, you notice the half-orc that was sitting over as well. He's like staring at you, and he just gives you the hey, hey, I see you. Come here.
No.
Come here.
No.
If you run, I'll find you.
Ah! I begrudgingly sit up quite abruptly so that my chair scoots loudly, and I just trudge towards this man.
You notice as you get closer that he also has a mark. His is on his neck, kind of like angled down. He also bears the dragon mark of finding as he approaches you. And he's like, roll up the sleeve.
I roll up my Henley shirt.
He just like grabs your wrist and like looks at your arm. He like pulls out a monocle. He's like, where you from, kid?
Well, I'm from Loadura, right? Is that right?
Yeah. And he's like,
I never knew my parents.
You're born here with that mark. How old are you?
I'm 32.
By all accounts, kid, you should not have that.
You're telling me.
And he says, "Yep. No, you'll have to come. You'll have to come see the big boys, higher ups. Let them decide what to do with you." Like you may have guessed, we can't really can't really get you out of here. But when you finish this gig, you're coming to see us. You're coming to see us. And if you don't, we'll find you.
Hey, I'm good at finding people too.
Yeah, then you should be on time. Shouldn't be late. You should be able to find your way to us very easily. I'm sure you know where we are. be there.
I guess. Alright.
He gets up and nods at you harshly and walks away as well. And he kind of leads you guys back out to like a waiting room almost, and bring you guys out and start leading you. They'll go ahead and give you your equipment back. So anything you had previously, you go ahead and they return it to you.
All right.
With
I take
stern
a
looks.
stiff swig from the wine bottle.
The wine bottle. Yeah. All right. Additionally, another townsman, like a town guard, a city watchman, is also brought forth to meet you. He looks like a probably like 35-year-old dude. He's a little scruffy, kind of look grizzled and quiet. And they bring him forward, and he comes forward and he looks at you guys and he says, "My name's Arvel. I'm gonna be watching you guys. Try not to make too much trouble for me, eh?" Yes, Arvel. A-R-V-E-L. Arvel.
Marvel.
Arvel.
As soon as we get on our way there, I'm next to Jonah. I'm just kind of elbow him. Say, Gramps, you didn't think to mention that you had one of those Dragon Mark houses connected to you?
Well, when I was born, they wanted nothing to do with me, so I want nothing to do with them.
See, that's any reason? They just didn't like you? Or
I don't know. I was born in the
personal
streets.
stuff?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll just continue on the way.
Alright. Arvel doesn't walk in front of you guys. He walks actually probably like 5-10 feet back and just kind of like looks at you as you guys are led forth out back into town. They've removed your handcuffs, but you know they're still kind of like leading you guys around back out into the bazaar, actually, where they're going to requisition someone to look after you for a little while you're serving out your time. Actually, they bring you to a place that Nate, you recognize. As they lead you around kind of towards the edge of the bazaar, you hear the familiar
It's not a whole lot
sound.
of business.
You hear the familiar sound of hammer striking anvil. Ting, ting, ting. And they bring you up to a shop labeled Boren's Blades. And as they bring you up to it, Arvel kind of walks forward and he says, "Wait here." And he goes inside, and you hear him talking for a minute, and you hear the hammering stop, and then you hear some conversing. And then Arvel comes back out and he's like, "Yeah, he'll look after you. Just whatever he needs, help out around the shop." And he just kind of like looks at you with like a big wide-eyed stare. He's just like, "Don't make me any trouble."
As
You
he's
got
staring
that?
me, as he's staring at me, I go,
He like squints at you, and he's like, "You especially." He says,
"Yeah, I might
won't
find myself a new middle name, huh?"
He says, "I won't be far." And he just kind of like does this, nods, and walks off a little bit into the bazaar. But he'll be around.
I want to take a look, make sure all my stuff is in my bag.
Yeah, nope, they give it all back.
Yeah, it's all there. Okay.
The only thing you don't have is that old scroll from Corn's quill that you miraculously ended up with.
How big was that? Was that like big scroll or like?
No, it was like map-sized, so...
Well, maps can be very many sizes.
Yeah, look behind you.
Not quite that big. Not quite that big. Like treasure map sized, like that a pirate would
okay.
have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the blacksmith that I met?
Yeah. Boren, owner of Boren's Blades, best
Was he a
halfling.
warforged?
He's a halfling.
He's a halfling.
He's a halfling bladesmith. Specializes in small blades, knives, and daggers. And he brings me in. He's
What am I
like,
gonna be able to? What am I gonna be able to do with a blacksmith shop?
"When serve the community." Anyways, he says,
You're gonna tell him how the blades are gonna turn out.
You come in and you see him. He's wearing his little leather apron, and he kind of like dusts it off, and he's holding some tongs, and he sets them down quickly, and he's like, well, hello there. And he looks at you and he's like, hey, got into trouble already, I see.
It's a long story.
He's like, yeah, I heard a little bit of that. Well, looks like we're gonna be getting to know each other a little bit. I tell you what, the name's Boren, and he like reaches out hands for you guys.
Shake his hand.
And he's like, all right, well, it's a small little business out here. We don't got a whole lot going on, but I do have a few things I can use you guys for. And he points at you, Failsafe, and he says, you, Bellows. He points at you, Slugger, and he says, you, Hammer.
All right.
And he points at you, Veswa, and he says, and you, go give me some coffee or some water or something, and when you come back, you can man the counter for me.
Yes, sir.
And he deposits you like a singular silver sovereign. He says, you bring me that back. In goods, of course, not don't get the coin for free. Don't steal anything. And he points at you. Go get us some
Hey, we're
drinks.
not stealing nothing.
That would be funny.
We're totally not here for stealing.
Go get us some drinks and come back and you can man the counter for me.
Drink
Nothing for me.
Drinks?
Yeah,
Singular, plural?
you know the bazaar. You want to drink something? You better get it. Listen, I'm a one-man shop. I'm not built to accommodate partners here. So if you want nourishment, then you best go acquire some.
I shall take this singular coin I have attained
Yes.
and go off into the bazaar
A singular silver sovereign.
in search of a good deal for coffee.
I tell you what. Why don't you
Multiply the
make
fish and bread.
Why don't you make for me an investigation check?
Alright, let me open up my dice. I should have bought some dice this weekend.
If only he had honey, the free browse engine that helps you save money on all purchases.
Oh, but is that mirrored for you guys?
Not a sponsor.
No,
It's fine, unless that was a 2, in which case it is mirrored. But I think it's not a 2.
It was a 20.
Nice, very nice. Yeah. So you look around
Let's invest.
First 20 of the game.
as a
So just the 20.
yeah, as a connoisseur of the bazaar, as one who's worked here for a little while, at least a decent amount of time. You had your own little stall here. You know your place around pretty good, so you look around. And was it coffee specifically you're looking for, or any other kind of drink?
Coffee.
All right, yeah, no, you know a place that deals in exotic bean water, so you go around.
Don't like how you said
That's
that.
what it is. That's what it is. You don't like it.
I
That's what it is.
suppose it is.
Yep.
Unless
So
the beans are grown locally.
you find a shop that has their beans imported from Valenar, I believe. Yes, the Valenar area, and you find it, and you've kind of dealt with this kind of people before. There's an elven man running the counter, and he kind of nods at you and is like, "Yeah, what can I get for you?"
So, do I know what the prices are here? Have I shop for?
You know about what the prices should be. You're business
Okay.
savvy enough that you're yeah.
What can I get for one silver?
For one silver piece, you could get straight beans and then try to make your own coffee, or you could get, for one sovereign, you could probably get about 6 drinks.
What was the second part of that?
For one sovereign, you could get about 6 drinks. Or you could try to buy straight beans or grounds and make your own.
I'll set it on the counter, and I want. Could I take 3 drinks, please?
And he says,
Uh,
"Yeah, I got you. Anything else you need while we're here? We got refreshments of all flavors and kinds. We've got drinks, of course, but you need any snackage to go along with that?"
just 3 glasses, cups of coffee. We'll do fine.
He's like, "All right, any special orders on those, or just a basic brew?"
this guy's a hipster.
Yeah.
I don't know coffee, so basic brew,
He
please.
says, "All right, coming right up." And he takes the silver sovereign,
The other half of that silverback, I know you.
and he's like, "Ah, nothing gets past you. And he kind of reaches down below his desk and he hands you 5 crowns, 5 copper crowns.
All right.
And he goes back into the back, and you hear some porridge of some water, some stirring. For some reason he has a shaker, like he's making a margarita. You're not sure why he's using that to make this
We just
coffee.
hear a drill going on.
Yeah, you're really confused as to the engineering of this coffee. But he comes back, and he sets 3 kind of like ceramic jars with like screw top lids on them. He says, "There you go. Come again."
All right, I'll give him a nod. Get my coins, and attempt to hold these 3 cups in my hand. So, and well, they have lids on them, so I won't spill them.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a dexterity check to hold 3 cups with 2 hands.
Ah, yes. Just straight up dexterity.
Yep, just dexterity. General balance.
That's probably not an acrobatics check.
Probably not an acrobatics check.
Sleight of hand, maybe.
Unless you're balancing them on your head and the backs of your hands while walking on a tightrope, in which case, yes.
No. But I got an 11.
All right, yeah, that's fine. It's just carrying coffee. It's not that bad. The beauty of the ceramic jars is pretty well insulated, so it's not like the jars are super, super hot.
Oh, and we get cups with this too.
Paying forward. You can bring those back. Get them filled up again. Anywho, on your way back, we're going to hop back over to Boren's Blades real quick. And from Nate, I'm going to need a Constitution check. And from Jonah, I'm going to need a Strength check.
Just con check.
Just con.
Ooh. 8.
Interesting. Nate?
And I got a dirty 20.
Dirty 20? All right. So, what was my Boren voice? Oh, I've already forgotten.
It was Irish.
It was Irish?
It was your Scottish one.
It was just Irish. Okay. He was kind of a grizzly Irish, if I do recall. All right.
It was more Scottish than Irish.
He was
Yeah, a bit more Scottish.
Bit more Scottish. All
A
right.
little bit of a more like that.
He was a bit
there you
more
go.
Scottish. All right. I've got it. Okay. Thanks, lads. Anywho.
That's my name.
Yes. So back at the shop, you lads are getting into some trouble. He says, "All right, failsafe, was it here?" And he points down at the bellows. He's like, "You're gonna want to pump those and to keep it at a steady pace, not too fast, not too slow." He kind of like shows you the speed at which you should pump it. He's like, "When I tell you to start pumping, you start pumping, and you don't stop until I tell you to stop. You got me?"
Yes.
And he's like, "All right." And you, and he points over at you, Slugger, and he hands you a pair of tongs, and he like says, "I need you to hold this on this anvil for me, alright? You got me? All right. I'm gonna hit it pretty hard. Are you ready? All right. So so you start stoking, Nate, and like a machine, just don't even break a sweat. You're like, I could do this all day. So he takes some metal and he heats it up, and then he puts it on the anvil and he hands you the tongs and he says, "Now hold her steady for me." And he gets up his hammer and he gets real close to it and he's like, and he grabs it in 2 hands and he's like, and he hits it right next to your hands, Jonah. And as one who has made his living from his hands, you are like, you are very cautious of this man just smacking your hands with a freaking hammer. So you just like jump out of the way, and he slams the knife that he's working on, and it kind of clatters to the ground. And he's like, "Oh, come on now, lad!" I said, steady grip for me. Pick it up.
I need these things.
Pick it up.
I grab the tongs and I pick it back up.
All right, and he's gonna try again. He's gonna try again with disadvantage now that the work has been spoiled by being dropped on the ground.
Jonah, come on.
And he can use to work on it for a little bit, and he's like, "Nah, it's a wash. Put it back in the fire."
Shove it back in the forge.
All right. And Failsafe just kind of stares deadpan at you as he's pumping the bellows. You hold it there for, probably 3 minutes or so. So go ahead and Slugger make a Constitution check for me.
Please
hot out
be
here.
good.
You're standing right next to the
Nat
forge.
20.
All right, yeah. It's hot. Forge is hot. Fun fact, hot stuff is hot. Like, you're in your trench coat and you're sweating. Like,
On your big trench
Why are
coat.
you wearing a trench
in your
coat?
leather trench coat. It is hot in here. As Failsafe continues to just... Anyways, you get
Mop
in, you...
my brow with my MMA wraps.
Yeah, it's hot. You eventually pull it back out and set it back down on the anvil, and Born's like, now keep it steady this time. Yeah. And he goes to hit it again. This time it's much better, and he gets it.
Okay, good.
Go ahead and make another strength check for me to hold it steady.
Hey, it's 15.
15. All right, very nice. Yeah, so this time it all goes very nicely, and it ends up turning out pretty good. He's got the blade kind of formed where he wants it. It's just like the blade and the tang. It's not affixed to a handle yet, and he takes the tongs from you and kind of picks it up and quenches it, and he pulls it out and he sets it like on a side table to rest. And he's like, "That's good. You can stop the pumping there for a second. We can let the forge quiet down a little bit." It's about this time that Vezua comes back with some drinks. He sets them all
on
out.
the stack.
Yes. And
Oh.
and Jonah, I will say you are a little disappointed that it's a hot drink.
That probably
Yeah, I
wouldn't,
bet.
yeah.
But-
would have been a good idea to get something cold, I suppose.
But you know, he said coffee, and you really latched onto that idea.
I mean,
That's
I have
okay.
dumpster wine.
He asked for coffee, and coffee is what I'm going to get him.
Committed. I like it. Anywho, for the remainder of the day, for you guys' remaining work, Nate, go ahead and make for me one more Constitution check. Jonah, make for me one more Strength check. And Nathaniel, make for me a general Charisma check. Yep. Nope. You're good, Nate. Like a machine.
I got a 5.
Yes. Natural 1 plus 2, so 3.
Nice. So, despite Failsafe's best efforts, you
Did you only
know,
get a 2?
Jonah got
I
low.
got a 5. I rolled a 2. Wait, no, I only got 4. I didn't even get 5. I got a 4.
So, you guys kind of continue your day. The sun's starting to go down, and you know, I'd say number of knives produced in a day. You guys have probably produced 3, not like full knives, but like blades, 3 satisfactory knife blades. And Born kind of looks at you guys and he's like, "Well, that's a little slow, I guess, but you know, not used to having so much help around the forge. Not used to knowing what to do with y'all yet. So you know, we'll just call it growing pains." As opposed to blades sold, at the counter, Vezua, I'd say you've probably made a successful 1 sale. But Born is, you know, he's pretty chill. So he's like, slow day. You know, people don't need knives every day. So, you know, why don't we call it good, celebrate the first day on the job? Why don't you guys take the rest of the night off? I'll finish up the work here, and you guys go get yourselves a drink. You guys got a place to stay.
Yep, got my office.
Alright. Yes, I've got a place. I want to ask or Slugger, because I suppose he would probably have the most experience in this kind of situation. So, if we're doing some community service stuff, are you able to run your business during it, or what?
Would I?
Typically speaking, if you're working at another place, then you cannot also run your own business at the same time just because of you can't be in 2 places at once. There's not technically any rules against it. It would just be physically very difficult.
You'd have to just be up all night working.
Yes. You would just have to not
say.
sleep.
Well,
Okay.
there's only one of me.
Well, because I got my little business of my own.
Yeah, this the voodoo stuff.
Yes. Not quite, but yes. Well, I suppose I better get back for the night. what, got 30 or 29 more days of this?
2
That'll be
months.
enjoyable. Oh, we got 2 months.
59 more days.
59 more days.
That's a lot of
Well, I
context.
suppose I'll be seeing you tomorrow.
Bright and early, it seems.
And Bourne kind of laughs. He's like, "Aye, the fires have to start early, or nothing gets done."
I take out my cigar from my jacket and like reach it into the forge and light it. I put it in my mouth.
As you guys are walking out, you see leaned up against the wall Arvel there. He's got like a hood on like a brown cloak. He's like leaning up against the wall. He appears to be almost asleep, but as you guys are walking out, he like raises a hand at you and just kind of but fail safe, you don't have a place to stay. No. So when Boren asked you guys all if you had a place to stay, you said no. So Boren says you can stay with him. He lives, like, the forge is just kind of like, it's a small little, like, stand. That's where, like, he does his selling and some of his forging, but he has, like a little house kind of, just, like, a few blocks away. So he says, you can stay with me, lad.
That's nice of him.
Bright and early.
I don't take up much space anyway. I just kind of stand
You
around.
just stand in the corner.
I hear their conversation and I say, and if that ever falls through, you can sleep in my office.
I'm sure that's a very comfortable place.
Yeah, I sleep there. Serves me well.
Yep. As, I'll say not you, Nate, because you're fine, but to Vezua and Slugger, as you guys are heading home this evening to your respective abodes, both of you make for me some perception checks.
Yeah, let's head off to the bakery.
18.
Yes, perception. So Slugger, you got an 18. Vezua?
14.
14. Okay. So yeah, Vezua, you don't notice anything amiss as you're headed home. You're kind of bummed that this all happened. You're dreading having to explain this whole situation when you get home. Well, we'll get to you in a second. But Slugger, as you're walking home, now you're a man who's used to drawing some attention, right? Just, yeah. But as you're walking off to your shabby little corner of Dura, heading back to your office, you could have sworn you're being tailed, and like, not by Arvel. Like, you're familiar with Arvel now. Like, he knows you, you know him. He wouldn't stealthily tail you. He would just follow you around a few feet back. But you definitely get the feeling that someone or something is watching you as you're walking back to your office. You're not entirely sure what. Sums up. Yeah, you get back to your office, though no hiccups or anything. Easy to bed down for the night. Vezua, though. What's the name of your cousin, is it?
I never came up with what it seems. But yeah, that's my third cousin twice removed.
Your third cousin twice removed, yes.
Name.
Here, I can name him real quick if you want.
Malarasha.
Alright, do you got a name, Nathaniel, or do you need me to do it?
I'm gonna need you for this one.
Alright, okay.
Name list.
He will be Dadrith Lad. So, Dadrith. D-A-D-R-A-T-H. Dadrath.
Okay.
So, as you make it home, Dadrith is closing up shop. You know, the bakery doesn't really get much business in the late time hour of the day. And he kind of nods to you as you open the door. The little bell rings, and he says, "Oi, oi, Vesuo, why you out so late?"
Have I got a story for you?
And he's like, "Oh, really? Well, why don't you go ahead and tell me all about it?"
Well, you see, so first I was doing my usual thing down in the bazaar, trying to earn myself some coins, and I got an interesting customer. This tall half-orc guy, big coat. He was smoking up. He kind of stunk, but he hadn't told him his fortune, so I did that, and then. As part of the deal, he wanted to pay me a little bit more if I would keep an eye out on something for him. He wanted to see if anyone left this certain building. So, he was going to pay me double just to do that, so figured why not. And as I did that, some thieves broke out of the store he was watching. The owner comes rushing out and yells at someone to stop him. So, you know me. I couldn't say no to that. Had to do it.
And Dad was like, "Well, yeah, any good citizen would go in and help there."
So the two of us, we take off, go to take down one of these people, and by the time we catch up to him, we knock him out, but he doesn't have what they stole. We meet this big metal guy who's like really tall. What color metal are you?
It's like a gray, kind of a silver.
Yeah, he's like this gray, but the worst part, he's got all these yellow.
And he's like, "Oh, that must have been real fun for you."
Yeah, he was an interesting fellow. Tried to stay away from him, but the three of us tried to go after the next guy, chase him through some alleys, met some interesting businesses. Probably not a place in town that should go, but we get all the way down. We see the owl guy, the chairman. I don't think we ever met him.
The
I've never been.
Councilman Hruit?
Yeah, well, at least he looked like him. And then he was holding what we were searching for. And all of a sudden, there was like a flash of light, and we were back in the marketplace, and we were holding it. And he was there, and he said we stole it. So,
Really?
yeah. So after all of that, they put us on trial for stealing it. But of course, since we didn't do it, there wasn't a whole lot of evidence for it. Just his word, the councilman's word.
Yeah. How'd that even happen? How'd they convict you?
Well, they just didn't want to go against the councilman's claim, but they didn't have anything else to back it up. So we ended up with I got 2 months of community service.
Oh, that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. No, the best part about it is they had us working at this blacksmith shop. And you know me. I can't do anything there, so I just get to work the counter. The two guys with me, they do all the work.
Well, you lucked out there.
Don't tell them I said that.
And he's like, "Well, I guess it sounds like you're going to be up and out early, so you should probably get yourself off to bed."
Seems so. I will. I give him a nod.
And you head up to the attic.
Yes, to the attic.
To the attic. All right.
So you're a fortune teller by day, baker by night?
No, I'm not a baker.
No, his third cousin twice removed is a baker.
Okay.
But, meager living as a fortune teller can't really afford an apartment in the big city, so.
I had considered that because I had a tool I could give myself proficiency with. I considered cook's utensils, but I thought it'd be funnier if I couldn't bake it, if I went to the bakery.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well then. Why don't you all mark yourselves for a long rest? So, as you all head off to sleep, right? Vesua, you get a rather... Oh, he's back. Okay.
Sorry, we're good.
Yeah, you're good. As you're all heading off to sleep, we'll start with you, Vezua. You have a rather interesting nighttime experience, as all Kalishtar do. You find yourself in this dreamlike vision in a courtroom, not unlike the one you were just in today, but this one is different. Out the windows, you don't see the blue skies and normal planes of the material plane, but outside is just a weird, twisted mess of thoughts and feelings and other paradoxical things that shouldn't exist. The smells of colors, the sounds of pictures, you know, the usual. You would find this slightly jarring if it didn't happen to you so often. And you find yourself not in your own body, but in the body of one lad. The Corey. The Halashak Corey, to be specific, as he is a judge presiding over a court case. As a rival Corey has been accused of invading the dreams of mortals directly to sow terror and just other variant crimes of the dream plane, you know, that don't really make a whole lot of sense. And as you're looking around in this weird dreamlike state, as the trial kind of progresses, the Corey that is being accused is very resistant to being actually arrested, and he refuses to do his time. And as this whole vision is going on, the clearest message that you're able to get out of this dream, like, that your human senses aren't really accustomed to all the wackiness that's going on, so it's a very trippy dream, and you don't understand it all very nicely. But the standout message that you get from this guy is that the dark is coming, and it will have its time.
All right. So that's just like you going through memories?
Memories, yes.
Okay.
Failsafe, you don't sleep, so you don't have any notable dreams or visions. You go stand in the corner of Bourne's little cottage. It's a few blocks away from his blacksmith shop. It's quaint, small, practical, not a lot of decoratives, but, you know, it's nice. Yeah, you lay down, or do you just stand in the corner ominously?
I'll just stand, like, not facing the corner, but
Yeah, of course not. He goes and
Into
walks
the corner
into the
with
corner. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So night passes uneventfully for you. Slugger, go ahead and roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
Okay. That is a 7.
7. As you drift off to sleep, this whole recent turn of events has got you very not happy. So you have a bit of trouble getting off to sleep. You're tossing and you're turning, and once you finally do, you have a very strange dream. You find yourself in a place that looks like it could maybe be Dura. Like, you look around and you recognize the geography, you see the plateaus, but there's no buildings. You're just kneeling on the edge of kind of a cliff, just overlooking devastation. There's just broken, like, everything. Like, you could see, like, there was once civilization here, but it's all kind of just gone. It's all ruined, and you can feel something moist kind of running down the sides of your face, and you're like, what, am I crying? And you go to, like, wipe your hands in the dream, and as they come away, your hands are just covered in blood as it's pooling out of your eyes.
Okay.
And you look around, and there's just bodies and broken houses as far as the eye can see. You wake up with a start and a cold sweat. You still finish your long rest, but
I clutch my scarred eye. I check to see if I'm bleeding.
no, you're good. You look over at the stuffed eagle on your wall.
I shake my fist at it.
Screw that one guy in particular. All right. As the next morning starts, You guys all wake up, head out to Boren's, and get started for the day's work. And we're gonna breeze through this, so I'm going to need Constitution, Strength, and General Charisma checks. You know who you are.
I want to work the counter sometime. Make someone else run the bellows.
That'd be funny.
Oh, actually, my con's not that bad.
I got a 17.
All right, very good.
11 con.
12 charisma.
All right. So, failsafe, your performance today isn't nearly as immaculate as it was yesterday. Not because you're getting tired, but because you find this job incredibly monotonous, and your mind just kind of tends to wander. So, like, you'll be pumping the bellows, you'll be focusing on the rhythm, and you'll be getting it really steady, and then you'll kind of just like drift off. And like, it's not that you're tired; you'll just start to slow down because you get distracted. Like, you know, you're still pretty new to this whole being alive and sentient thing, and life excites you, so you know you're just always trying to look around and gain as much information as you can. You learn quick, but you're still in that phase where you're trying to take in as much knowledge as possible to acquaint yourself with this world and its, you know, intricacies. This time, Jonah, your rough night has kind of prepared you. You've steeled yourself, and you're ready. This time, you're no stranger to danger. You stare death in the face. Surely you can hold tongs while a short guy whacks metal with a hammer. You know, so you're very determined today, and you get it done quite nicely. And Vezua, you're a bit less shaken up from the day's proceedings, so you kind of slide back into your normal salesman-like self and manage to do a fine day's business. Not necessarily like extra business that you normally wouldn't have done, but it's a solid day's work. And Boren didn't have to do everything himself today, and he's actually ahead on production. He's got more knives than he sold, which means that he'll have less work to do in the coming days, which is nice. Everything appears to be going pretty solid. Is there anything you guys want to do or say while you're attending your daily business?
The guard just chills out by the stall.
He's not there all the time. He comes by every so often, just kind of check on you, stare at you.
He's got other things to do with his life.
Yeah. Yeah. He thinks this whole case is kind of ridiculous, so he's not super invested in you guys, if I'm going to be honest. He's just keeping an eye on it because it's his job.
I take a couple swigs from my garbage wine.
Your garbage wine? Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Don't blacksmith while drunk, gentlemen.
Wine is a
12.
It is not a chugging drink. You managed to keep it together for now. For now.
Don't drink and smith.
Don't drink and smith. Don't smith and drink. That's how you lose fingers. Anyways, this day, you know, Jonah, those people that you could have sworn somebody was watching you last night as you were going home, you kind of feel that presence again around the shop today. And so go ahead and make for me a perception check, and you two as well, Vezua and Failsafe.
Perception.
Perception, yeah.
15.
10.
18.
18. You're acutely aware, Failsafe, as you're kind of looking around, trying to intake as much knowledge as possible. You're kind of becoming accustomed to the color palette of the bazaar, and this is a very loud place. But you notice some folk who really don't look like the other bazaar goers. You know, like it's a middle class area, so like there's some shabby folk here, but most of the time people who are coming to the bazaar have enough money to actually purchase stuff at the bazaar. But you start to notice some real straggly looking fellows, There's some dwarves among them, some humans. They're not many in numbers, probably like 5 or 7 scattered throughout the crowd, and they're real down on their look, and they all look real angry, and all of them are casting glances towards Boren's blades.
Are they like? Wait, do I notice them?
Yes, you would notice them as well.
Okay.
Jonah's a bit too
are they
concentrated on his work to notice them right now.
My garbage wine.
Well, not
Yes.
drunk, but yeah. Are Are they like gathering up in a group, or are they
No,
just like walking
they
by?
are not. They're spread out, but you've noticed they're walking between the same couple of stalls every like so often to like not arouse suspicion. Like they're doing their job well. You'd have to be noticed. You'd have to have already noticed them and be looking for them to tell what's up.
Orin, I have a question.
And he's like, yeah.
Do you have very many enemies?
And he says, well, I don't think so. I mean, I'm just a simple man trying to make my living. I know there's a lot of folk, a lot of smiths down under who think they can do a lot better job than me. But you know, a business rivalry is nothing to shake a stick at. You know, if you think your business is better than mine, then by all means come set up shop. Nothing's stopping you.
I hear the conversation, and I lean over and say, do you owe anyone any money?
And he's like, no. He's
Well, that's good.
born and raised here in Middle Dura. Been smithing from a young age. I mean, it's not like even I'm the only smith here. You know, I specialize in the small stuff. I pick my craft and I stick to it. So can't think of any reason not to have any like rival smiths. I suppose. I mean, if somebody really thought that my knives were a bad piece of work, then I suppose they could bring it up with me specifically. But, yeah, I don't think so.
That's what I thought.
Any particular reason why?
Well, there's some characters outside that are eyeing the shop front, and I'm just not certain what to think of them.
And he kind of like leans and looks, and he's like, "Oh, I think I see what you mean. Beats me. I just like to stick to my work and try to stay out of people's way."
I turn to you two. They may not dislike Orin. They may dislike us.
Eh.
What do we do though?
What haven't we done?
Quite a bit actually.
You're young.
I'm not saying they're right. Just saying what they probably think.
I kind of limber up and crack my knuckles. Make sure my knives are ready to go just in case I need them.
Wait, are you still
I
in the
just kind of
back
clench
the
my fist
though?
repeatedly.
No, so I guess somewhat nervously work the counter still.
Actually, as the day goes on, you do some normal business. One of them comes up to the counter. It's a dwarvish fellow, looking real burly, real down on his luck, but real burly. He reaches into one of his back pockets, and he pulls out a leather glove, and he throws it on the ground in front of the shop. And he looks at you and he says, "I'll be waiting." And he just turns and leaves.
Sir, can I help you?
He just walks away.
Guess I'll step out, look around and look right, and look down at the gloves. It just seemed to be like just a normal leather glove.
As you pick it up, it's a simple brown leather glove, but on the back of it, on the back of the palm, it actually has like painted onto the glove a square symbol that is a purple labyrinth.
Wasn't that on the scroll case that we supposedly stole?
Perhaps.
Is it going to be? Well, I'll pick up the glove, and I don't have my cloak on. I'll bring it back in and I'll put it in my bag with my other stuff.
Yep.
I'll tell you
do
two
that.
about it when it's private.
Yep. Yeah, you guys finish up just after dinner time, so there's still a little bit of light left in the sky. Actually, is there a little bit of light left in the sky? No, there is not a little bit of light left in the sky. It is dark. It's probably just after like 5 or 6 o'clock. You guys are finishing up work for the day. But this is your second day of work, so it would be middle of the week. Yeah. But Bourne's closing up shop for the day, putting his tools away. He's like, well, Failsafe, you know where my place is. So I'm gonna go on and head home. But if you wanna stay out and get a drink or do whatever it is you youngins do, then be my guest. And he packs up his sack and starts heading home.
I make to leave
What?
with him.
Hold it there. Fail safe. I wanted to ask you something.
Certainly.
Look. First, I want to look around and see if any
Go ahead and
figures.
make a perception check.
16.
16. Well, you do notice Arvel outside flick up his hood and wave at you guys as the shop is closing and he's heading back to his own house. But additionally, you do notice one of the gangly figures from earlier. He's a lot taller. He's not one of the dwarves. He's a very thin, like a sickly thin human who's just kind of like the bazaar never closes basically. So they're starting to put up lights and stuff, and he's still kind of mingling around the bazaar, but still eyeing towards Boren's blades every so often.
I want to stand so that my back is to him,
Mm-hmm.
so he can't really see it. I'm sure he knows what it is. I'll reach in my bag and take out the glove, and show him the symbol. One of those guys just threw this on the ground in front of the shop. Said, what did they say again? They'll be waiting for us?
I'll be waiting.
Yeah, they said they'd be waiting for us. Any idea what that's about?
Kind of sounds like a mafia thing to me.
Jonah, go ahead and make an insight check.
Okay. I have that. Nat 1 plus 2. So 3.
A little drawn a blank by this. But yeah, it's a glove. It was thrown on the ground.
Did he say where he would be waiting?
He didn't. He just said they were waiting for us. I can only assume it's got some connection to why that map was stolen before.
I suppose then we'll have to be ready for him then.
Do you see any one of his you see any accomplices of his, or friends, or someone that looks like him?
Don't make it obvious, but right behind me, straight up, there's one of his buddies, it seems.
Should I go talk to him?
I don't know if that'd be a really good idea or a really bad.
Let's all talk to him. And I do a gesture on one of these at him, and I do the.
You at the guy?
Yeah.
You're like waving at him, like
Yeah.
as he glances at one of his side glances, and he sees that he's been noticed, and he's like,
I point at him and nod.
And I just point directly at him.
like and he's real shifty looking. He's real skinny. Looks kind of sick almost. His veins are really stuck out, and he's like kind of hair is thinning, and he's tall, but he's skinny, really skinny. And he's like, and he comes up and he comes up to the counter and he's like, hey.
What is the meaning of this? And I point at the glove.
And he's like, is it obvious?
No.
And he's like, freaking Demar is speaking. It's a challenge. He threw the glove down. It's a
I
challenge.
was in a fight, and I start cracking my knuckles.
He's like, yeah, I guess. Apparently Demar.
Where are you at?
apparently Demar's got a bone to pick with you. You want to go see him?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he's wanting to fight. I'll give him a fight.
Okay. Come with me.
I signal my buddies to come with me.
I'll go with him.
I start doing like a pre-game.
He's gonna need help with
Stretches.
this.
I take a swig of my wine. I do my whole pre-boxing match
All right.
thing.
You're
Start kind
a
of
big
dancing
fan
around.
of these fights, aren't you?
Hey, I used to make a living this way. That's how I got my name.
I suppose you got some experience in all those years.
He leads you down, around, away from the bazaar. He leads you more towards. Hold on. Music change time. It starts leading you guys away from the bazaar down along a very twisting path, taking a lot of stairwells down. Slugger, you would recognize this. You're headed towards Lower Dura.
Hey.
As you start to pass from more of the middle class section, as it's getting shabbier and shabbier as you're going down. The houses are looking more rickety. Everything is more miraculous. You're like, how is this place even standing? If these buildings weren't magically grafted to each other, they would all come crashing down, particularly since they're supporting a lot of weight above them too, as the city continues to go up higher and higher. So as you're going lower and lower, the city gets shabbier and shabbier as you're going down and down and down. And he spirals you along a path until you get to kind of like an old, like decrepit looking tavern bar. Hold on one second. All right. I've made a mistake. Uno momento. There you go. All right. So he's leading you guys down to this old, kind of decrepit-looking bar, and you guys walk in, and there's another dude like working the counter, a little less sickly looking. This guy's got kind of like a really handlebar mustache, kind of hanging on. He's like, "Yeah, they're here for the thing." He's like, "Yeah, they're here for the thing." And he's like, "All right." And he just kind of gestures behind him. He leads you guys out behind the counter. And he like pulls up like a hatch in the floor, and there's like a cellar, kind of like basement stairs that go into the basement. And as you guys get down there, you see like a large hollowed out room that has like some shabby looking bleachers on the side, and like a makeshift fighting ring.
It's a fight club.
Is this the fight club that I used to fight in?
No, you've never seen this place before. You have never ever been here. And painted on the floor of this particular fight club, or on the floor of the ring, painted in the middle, is that same purple labyrinth sigil, kind of set on a diagonal angle in the center of the floor.
I want to say to the guy who's leading down here, well, hey, now I'm not one to read you turn down a fight, but I usually like to know why I'm fighting.
And he's like, The boss said he needed to fight you guys. And when the boss wants a fight, the boss gets a fight.
I see. Look to my companions. See. So I see Jonah's Jonas seems pretty hyped. Slugger. Failsafe seems indifferent as always.
As you guys are making it down into the ring, you can see sitting on the steps leading up to the ring is the dwarf you saw earlier. This guy called him Damar, and he is currently wrapping his own hands, getting ready to throw down.
I tighten the bandages on mine. I bang the plates
He
together.
looks up at you and he says, "Huh, so you came. Glad to see I'm not
You're
dealing with cowards."
You're the boss of this joint?
And he says, yep, that's me.
So,
So-
So you wish to fight all three of us?
And he says, well, not myself, of course.
Huh.
And he says, 3-on-1's no fair. And he snaps his fingers, and some other guys come out. There's a human guy and another dwarf guy, who aren't quite as beefy as Daymar, but they also come out, you know, with some wraps on there. They're also getting ready.
okay. Are they carrying any weapons?
Not that you can see.
Okay, so I unsheath my knives and stick it in the floor of the arena.
And Daymar kind of
take off
nods
my
at
coat. I hand Vezua my wine. Take care of this.
Wine, never having had wine before.
Daymar reaches behind him and pulls off his shirt.
It's fine.
Daymar reaches behind him and grabs his shirt, and he pulls it off, and he turns around. And as he turned around, you can see he has a full back tattoo of this sigil, right? This labyrinthian
Oh.
sigil. And
I'm
he,
just picturing a purple QR code.
Yeah.
not wrong. It's more. Do you guys know what the symbol of Thar's Dune looks like?
I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, that's not quite what I want either. It's more labyrinth than that. Just imagine like
I know what you mean.
Have you guys ever read Percy Jackson?
Yeah.
You know, like the labyrinth. Just imagine like a square,
Yes.
like a square overhead map of the labyrinth.
All right.
Is what it looks like. So he's got it full back tattooed on his back, and he goes over to the side. Daymar does, and he picks up. He goes over to a keg they have stationed in the corner, and he pours himself a tall stein of something, and he drinks it. And he plops it down, and he says, "All right. So who wants to be getting on first?"
I roll up my sleeves till it exposes my tattoo, and I roll up the other sleeve. See, I suppose I'll go first.
And he says,
How many non-combatants are in here? Besides, like, there's the three of us, the three of them.
people are starting to file in, actually, but they don't look like combatants. They look excited. They're ready for a fight.
Are we in like in a separate section from them?
Yeah, you guys are kind of like down on the main floor, but there's kind of
Okay.
like makeshift bleachers on the walls.
All right.
And
Well, suppose you can go first if you want.
Daymar's like, "You wanting to be fighting me or one of my boys here?"
I'll fight whoever goes at me.
He says, "I like you. I want you. But I says we're going to save us the best for last.
All
We're going
right.
to let them warm up the crowd, and then you and I are going to go at it." All right. And he
That
like,
is insulting.
and he says, "Well, I'm an insulting man. You got a problem with that?"
I didn't say it was wrong. It is insulting.
He says, "Well, I suppose that's fair." And he taps his human buddy on the shoulder, kind of tall, kind of lanky guy, and he gets up and he's like, "Yeah, I'll go first. I get him for you, boss." And he hops up into the ring. He cracks his neck a little bit and he says, "So, come on. One of yous, get up here."
I'll go.
All right. Daymar kind of steps forward, and he begins to announce what's going to happen.
Do I have my shield?
You do. It was given back to you, so I would assume it's kind of slung over your back.
Yeah.
It is at this point that Daymar gets up and begins to announce to the crowd. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the evening of fighting. Here in my ring, we only have one rule. Win. And let the fights commence." And he kind of steps down out. And the guy up in there, he's the human guy up in there. He says, "Name's Casey. Pleasure fighting with you tonight."
I give him one of these. When I pull my shield off, and I go under the ropes or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and I assume kind of a stance and lift my shield, and I clench my fists real hard, and out of the knuckles little spikes pop out, and it just and I'm just holding it at the ready.
Very nice, very nice. Well then, I'm gonna need you to roll for me, sir, some initiative.
Oof.
Now that I think about it, we're all just a party of boxers in one way or another.
Yep. I don't think we have any weapons between the three. Okay, well, we do have weapons, but we don't need weapons.
Yeah.
No blades.
No blades. No sword.
Because I have a weapon. It's just-
Yeah. All right. So what's your initiative failsafe?
3.
3.
-1 dexterity, dude.
He somehow beats you.
Oh, wow.
No, he rolled really bad and he still beat you.
Oh.
Like what'd you say? You rolled a what, Nate?
I rolled a 4,
Okay.
-1.
He actually rolled worse than you.
Good. Is he a monk? He is swear he's a monk.
All right. Well, he takes the first crack at you. So Casey kind of squares up a little bit at you. He's like, "All right, let's get this show on the road." And what's your AC, Nate?
19 with a shield.
19 with a shield. Gosh. All right. Well, he's gonna go ahead and roll to punch you. 19 with a shield, you said? No. So he's squaring up, and he goes to like try to like curve a punch into your face, like he jukes you once and like goes to try to punch you in the side of the face, but you easily just like shift your shield to go in to block it, and he like strikes your shield and he kind of grunts for a minute. And he's like, I was counting on it, and he goes to grab your shield and he tries to wrestle it from you. So he's gonna go ahead and make an athletics check. So you can either contested athletics check. He's grappling you to try to remove your shield.
Good luck.
6.
6? Yeah. No, you're a little green to this whole sentience thing. So you got a fighting database, but you weren't ready for his feint. So he goes and you easily block it, but he just like slips his hands onto the shield and just yanks it off of your arm and throws it out of the ring. And it lands skittering in the dust.
Am I still grappled?
No, you
Or
are
did he
not
just-
still grappled.
okay.
He just grabbed your shield and threw it. And he kind of gives you a grin and says, none of that here.
Fair enough. As he's like turned to throw it away, I just want to clock him in like the side, like the chest.
All right, go
with
ahead and
the
roll
morning
it.
star. 17.
17, yeah, no, that hits. So you just brain him in the ribs. Yeah, no.
8.
8 damage. All right. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Uno momento, por favor. Yeah. All right. No. Yeah. No. You got him pretty good. So he's brained in the side. And he's like, ugh, and blood starts dripping from his ribs. You feel a solid connection. You're afraid he probably fractured something. And he looks at you and he's like, now that you should not have done. And he kind of grits his teeth for a second and digs in real deep. This boy's angry. And he goes to punch at you again. I've dropped my dice.
Oopsie.
So while this fight's going on, get a elbow slugger in the side and say, hey, it seems you may want to keep those knives on.
That's pretty insightful of you. I reach over and take my knives out of the dirt floor and I put them in my sheets.
So Nate, what did you say?
It's like, well, all right, hand me my wine.
What did you say? Your AC with a shield was 19, so without it's 17? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
So he is floored. He is not happy as you've just brained him. He goes to punch you straight in the chest, and it connects. He punches you, and there's a lot of force behind the blow. You feel him as he like almost pushes you back slightly, but he didn't hit you with enough force to actually damage you at all.
Ouch. His knuckles.
No, his like blood drips from his knuckles after he punched you, and there's just nothing.
I want to like grab his hand and then like hit his arm.
You want to
And, like, try to break his arm.
All right, go ahead and roll to hit. Actually, go ahead, just instead of rolling to hit, make an athletics check.
22.
So, go ahead and roll damage die on your Morning Star, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be 12.
12? Okay. He grits his teeth as you go to hit it, and like his fist is there, you grab it, and his arm just like snaps right at the elbow, and it just like falls limply, and he just grits his teeth and he's like,
And I just say, "Are you done yet?"
he looks at you and he says, "Not by a long shot." Through gritted teeth. On his turn, he is going to try to like football tackle charge you and knock you over. So this is going to be another contested athletics check. He got 24.
Dirty 20. Dirty 20 for me.
Yeah. No, so he kind of like puts a shoulder into like your stomach area, and he wraps his remaining arm around behind your thighs and like lifts you off your feet and slams you onto the ground.
Dude, this guy must be ripped.
Well, he also rolled really good.
Yeah.
And as he gets you on the ground, like he's like, you find it weird that he was kind of like tall, and he wasn't as skinny as the guy who led you down, but he was like, he wasn't super big, but like he's strong, he's dense. And he kind of, after he gets you down, he gets up on top of you and is like poised to wail on you, but it is your turn first.
I'm on the ground.
You're on the ground. He's sitting on top of you.
Oh. So he's like sitting on top of me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I suplex him off the ground?
Like from
like,
you want to like grab him and like.
Yeah, just like with my arms.
Yeah, sure,
Just,
you can
like,
do that.
dunk him like
Make
that.
an athletics check.
Ooh. 7.
24.
Dang it.
You go to grab him and try to lift him, and he just like, he comes down and grabs one of your remaining arms, and he's like, "Not today, kid. Not today." And on his turn, he's gonna go try to punch you in the face.
Okay.
What's your AC?
17 right now.
He just misses you. He just misses. It's like,
He's like just a wall.
with his remaining hand, he's like, and you just like are barely able to move your head out of the way as his fist slams into the ground, and like, you heard this one, like, was a big boy punch.
Okay. While he's like leaning into the punch, I want to like try to like twist and like get on top of him, you know, because he's like already leaning in one direction from the punch.
All right, sure.
I'm
So
kinda
go
flipping
ahead
over.
and make an athletics check with advantage to grapple him.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Yep, no, you got him. He does try to resist you, but with his momentum into the punch, you're able to easily snake around him and just like roll him over and get up on top of him.
Okay.
Um,
I can't get a punch in right now, can I?
No, that was your action to make that check.
Okay.
On his turn, he's gonna try to resist with his one arm and try to like push you up off of him. But it's not gonna. Yeah, no, he tries. So he's just gonna try to punch you from the ground. So he's gonna attack you with disadvantage. And yep, disadvantage is hard. So he tries to get up a punch, but you're able to easily like parry it out of the way as it goes back to your turn.
I want to like use my other hand and like kind of choke him out
Okay.
while I'm on top of him and like lean on him to.
Well,
make him
you are very
scared.
heavy, so go ahead and make another athletics check with advantage.
16.
16. He's able to hang on for now. As you go, he like grabs your one hand and like brings it up off of his throat just enough that he's able to
Yeah.
hang on. On his turn, he's going to try once again to unseat you. And he starts like bucking you off of him a little bit. Go ahead and make a strength saving throw.
14.
14. He manages to like buck you up into the air enough that he's able to slide out from underneath of you, and he like gets up and stumbles to the other end of the ring, his arm like limply still hanging by his side, just red.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like holding. He's like,
can I get a running start and like do a
Superman
bash or like yeah?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and roll to hit.
6.
Yes.
Yeah.
At this point that I would like to remind you guys to go ahead and check.
Oh, is there a luck still?
Did I not put one in?
Not an initiative, no.
Oh, I thought I did.
Yeah, we haven't touched the initiative.
Hold on.
I would like to use a luck if I can.
Oh, and then there's health tracking. I have a health. What is my health?
Ah, okay.
How do I pin the comment?
Well,
3 dots, I
we're
think.
we're only gonna have like 4 total messages in the initiative.
Yeah. Okay,
Right.
it's pinned. So for our viewers at home who are unaware of the luck mechanic, it's something we introduced into our homebrew games. Basically, you have a good luck and a bad luck. At any time, a player may flip a good luck to gain advantage or impose disadvantage, and at any time, the DM may flip a bad luck to impose advantage or disadvantage as he sees fit. Kind of keeps the push and pull, the balance going. So you're going to flip a luck to roll that attack again?
Yeah.
All right. You started with one of each, so that will put you to double bad.
That gives me a dirty 20 though.
All right, yeah, no, that hits him.
For 9 damage.
9 damage. And this is your mace hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you hit him and it rakes him like across the face almost, and yeah, no, it's bad. You hear the crunching. You feel like you may have broken his jaw, but even through that, he just stands there. He takes it and he turns back towards you.
Dang.
And he goes to punch you again. And he hits you. As you kind of hit him down, he just turns and comes up with an uppercut of his own. And he's going to deal 8 bludgeoning damage by socking you in the face. You feel the force from this one as it comes up from the ground. Is it almost throws you for a loop a little bit, like how strong this guy is. You're like, what the heck is going on?
But his other arm's still broken, right?
Oh yeah, unusable. It's probably never going to be fixed. Permanently
Ooh.
maimed.
No.
Yikes.
Actually, he's going to use his bonus action. He's going to attack again.
Bruh.
Well, he's got to eventually hit you.
He hits you again. For another 8 damage. As he socks you twice real good. He is not looking good. He is rough. But he socks you once and then socks you again and kind of pushes you off a little bit as he's just just the sheer fury in his eyes right now is ridiculous.
So I just came across him, raked his face. I want to hit him like in the other side of the ribs, on the like in a backhand kind of.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and roll a hit.
19.
19, yeah, that hits.
Have I hit his AC yet?
His AC is not very high.
Oh, and then damage would be 8 damage.
8 damage. He is looking winded. He stumbles back. And he's really angry, but he looks down at his arm. And he looks at his ribs, and he feels some ribs broken. He's breathing, and he's like, one more. And he
How's the crowd?
Oh, the crowd is loving it. As soon as he raised up a finger and he says one more, and they just go wild. They are loving this. And
I'll take a step back and do one of the.
Yeah, no, he's getting ready. You get the feeling like this is all he's got. He's gonna run up and try to hit you. Yeah, and he hits for 6 damage. As a bonus action, he's gonna try to hit you again, which he's going to land.
Oh no.
How much health you got?
8.
Nice. As he comes forth with his final blow. And he punches you once and he reaches forward and he brings back his hands to kind of like back fist you with his other hand. And as he slams you in the hardened metal jaw, you hear a loud crack as you've been knocked in the face and his knuckles shatter. As he has broken his hand on your face as you take 7 damage.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And he's like,
I figured either he got like a nat one or something.
he says, ended.
So I like stumble back, and I'm actually gonna use my channel divinity because why not? And so like all like the yellow lights in me kind of glow a bit, and I kind of stand up a bit taller, and I'll regain, what is that? A d6 plus 2. So 7 health. So I stand up just a little bit taller, and then I go for like another kind of like kind of a dash
Yeah.
smash
go ahead.
into his right side. Then
Go ahead.
18
Yeah, easy.
to hit, and then 10 damage.
Yeah, no, he is gone. So as you just go straight, like, kind of into his stomach, he just, like, collapses and, like, good fight, kid, good fight. And he just kind of, like, falls onto the ground. Just blood everywhere.
And I set up it's all.
The crowd
for the
is
crowd, I'm
freaking
just like,
losing it. They're like, let's go! And Neymar comes forward and he's like, one heck of a fight, kid. What's your name?
they call me Failsafe.
He says, failsafe, I dig it. Nice fighting name. Well, you done a good job taking out Casey there. He's a toughin'. I like you. He says, somebody clean this up. And somebody comes in and they grab Casey's kind of broken form and they kind of just carry him off. Somebody comes up with some mops and mops off some of the blood and they let you go off to the side and sit down. And the other
Is he
dwarf-
dead?
Is he dead?
Make some death saving throws.
You don't know. But he wasn't looking good.
Oof.
He had lost a lot of blood, and his arm was very broken.
Murder.
Lots of blunt force trauma. Listen, he was a tough guy. He was a very tough guy.
So is the boss near me?
Yeah.
I go over to him and ask her, hey, what's your stance on weapons inside the ring?
And he says, like I told you, we here only have one rule. And he looks you dead in the eyes. Win.
Alright.
Just
I
don't
go
be
off.
surprised if it gets removed as I go to pick up my shield.
Yeah.
I draw my knives and I start trying to sharpen them on like the metal buckle on my shoes.
Alright. Cool, cool. Next up, the other dwarf fellow steps up. And he just kind of stops. And he says, my name is Doran. I'll be your opponent. And he points at you, Vezra.
All right.
I pat you on the back. Good luck, kid.
Oh, we'll make this a show, Holly.
I sit down looking very concerned.
You guys step up and go ahead, both of you roll initiative.
Wait, before I go out, I want to put on my fortune teller cloak, like the purple cloak with all the moon and star pattern on it. And I'll then, I suppose I can just walk out there. I want to like jump down bleachers, but I can't get up there.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. You can still look dignified. Do you want to roll performance?
Sure. 17.
Yeah. No, it's epic. The crowd is loving this anticipation. As you get up there, Dovram, he doesn't remove his clothes or anything. He's not doing anything special, but he kind of just cracks his knuckles and nods at you stoically. And what's your initiative?
19.
You just barely beat him.
Oh, nice.
He kind of like cracks his knuckles and gets ready, and he assumes a fighting stance and just says, show me what you've got.
So he's got no weapons on him?
No weapons that you can see. Nope.
Alright. Alright, so I'm gonna stance up. How far apart are we in this ring?
In this ring, you're about 15 feet apart.
It's not a very big ring.
Not a very big ring.
I said to turn down the music. Okay, so I'm going to, I guess, jump forward about 5. I guess just about 5 feet.
Mhm.
While I'm in the air, I'll use my bonus action to summon my Quarry Spirit's arms.
All right. So as Vezua leaps forward, some misty blue tendril-like shapes kind of appear about his shoulder height, and they weave themselves into the shape of large, kind of muscle-looking arms, just like muscle fiber and tissue of these spectral blue large arms.
Eyes get real wide. I
The
look
whole
at him.
crowd is like, "Let's go!" they are hype about this. They are very hype about this.
I just like
And as
gesture towards him and look at Failsafe.
As I jump through the air, cloak flowing. I just want the right hand arm go and do like a big swing downward towards him.
Yeah, go ahead and roll to hit.
Okay, +5 please. Yeah. 23.
23, yeah, no, that hits. He kind of like goes to brace himself, but it's a really big fist, and it just kind of like crushes right through his guard and like socks him right kind of in like the upper chest shoulder area.
And that is 5 radiant damage.
All right, very nice, very nice.
And I'm going to remain 10 feet from him.
Okay. All right, so on his turn, he looks forwards at you, and he's like, "That's some trick. I've got a few of my own, though." And he is going to step forward and go to punch you with his fists. As one does. He's going to step forward and punch you with his fist. He kind of like, he goes to psych you out for a second. Like, he makes like kind of a step to the side and a step to the other side. He goes like he's going to make a punch. And instead he pulls it to one side and grasps his hands together like this and goes to swing it down on you. And he's going to feint to gain advantage on this attack roll. What's your armor class?
16.
He hits you. Go ahead and take 14 bludgeoning damage for me.
Ow.
Ow.
From his
Good.
from his fainting strike.
Ending strike. I don't remember what class that's from.
He's fighter.
Uh,
I think the other guy was a barbarian.
He's a master of battling, what can I say?
there goes 2/3 of my health.
It's okay, he doesn't have very many of those.
All right. So, in
Everyone good?
Nate's video just went down, but
He'll be back.
in return, I want to. I'll use both my action and bonus action to make 2 strikes.
All right, go ahead.
One uppercut and then one straightforward punch. 13.
That hits. That is his AC. Actually, no, it's one above his AC. So yeah, that hits. His AC is 12.
13 and 14.
Nice, those both hit.
So, 5 and I'm just rolling 2s. So, yeah, I'll hit him with the uppercut and then smack him with the other arm, right? Well, with the other Corey's arm, do 10 radiant damage.
All right, very nice. All right, he kind of steps back. He's wary of you now, and he's like,
Just not moving myself, just having the arms.
Of course. Yeah, no, he is wary of you now. You've garnered his respect. Right. So what he is going to do is Yeah, he doesn't really have a whole lot that's applicable here, so he's just going to try to hit you with his fist. This time he's just kind of bobbing and weaving. He goes in to throw a quick straight jab as he goes to try to hit you, which he does. And he'll deal 6 bludgeoning damage as he like kind of weaves in between your arms and just like
yes.
clocks you in the nose. And he's just going to kind of like sit and guard.
Well, this is unfortunate. All right. And he's right next to me, right?
Yes.
And how beat up is he looking?
He's looking pretty rough.
Well, I guess if I get hit, so I'm gonna like get knocked backwards and then spin around and have one of the arms spin and hammer him from the side, and then the other one come in right from the top.
All right.
21 to hit.
That hits.
And 9 to hit.
You don't want to. There's nothing you can do with any key points here that you want to spend.
No, you can't use flurry of blows because they're not strikes. They're monk weapons.
Not Nani. You can't flurry of blows with your spirit arms?
No.
That's dumb.
Maybe you'll be able to once the book comes.
Anywho, so he hits, or you hit him?
Yeah.
For how much damage?
See. 7 reading damage.
He is looking very beat up. So he kind of steps back and he looks at
As
you.
am I.
Yeah, he looks at you and he looks at himself and he looks over at the side at Casey, you know, arm basically off of his body now, like kind of still laying on the ground, and he looks back at you and he says, "You fight good, kid. I don't want nobody to die today. I'll give you this one." And he just like, he puts up a hand and says, "I yield."
Ah.
And the crowd is like, "Oh, okay." And he comes up and he just puts a hand on your shoulder. He says, "Keep up, good work, kid." And he like pats you on the shoulder and he steps out of the ring.
Alright, wipe the blood away from my nose.
I pound you on the back. It's like, good job, kid. Good job.
I'm gonna say telepathically to Jonah. That didn't seem right. They may be trying to put on. May not be wanting to take us down.
I nod to him. So I get my cigar, and I swoosh on my jacket, and I get ready.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna keep my arms summoned
Alright.
because they can last for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have enough to re-summon them again. So
You can sign autographs with them.
Alright. Jonah, as Daymar steps forward, he's still got his stein of beer. As he steps forward and he steps into the ring and he says, "Well, it's main event time." And he takes a long drink and he tosses it out of the ring. And he kind of leans back.
I grab my wine bottle and
And
do
he
the
pulls up
same.
his fist and he like nods at you. And he leans back and he kind of stumbles for a minute and he's kind of swaying back and forth. Shirtless, hands wrapped like. It's at this time that I'm going to ask you both to roll initiative.
Oof. 6.
6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's going to go first.
All right.
So he's gonna step forward, and he's gonna like throw an arm at you in kind of like a super floppy haymaker. Like you can see this coming from like a mile away. Like it's really bad. What's your AC?
15.
15? Alright, so as he's throwing this wild haymaker, you easily bring up your hand to try to parry it. And as he's coming forward, he just kind of like reaches his arm around your guard and grabs your shoulder. And like in a moment of sharpness, you wouldn't have guessed from like how wobbly he was a minute ago, he grabs your shoulder and then puts his other hand up behind your head and goes to knee you in the stomach.
Ah.
For 7 bludgeoning damage.
Whoa! Alright. Let me edit my health. Alright. My turn, right?
Yeah, and he's still kind of like, he lets off for a second, and his hands are still kind of open. He's still kind of swaying around, like.
So I haven't drawn my knives yet.
No,
I'm not
but
quite there yet.
do recall that because of your ranger subclass, I do believe you get an extra attack on this round of combat.
Alright.
Yeah, this is your first turn, so your walking speed is actually increased by 10, and you can take an additional attack, and if that attack hits, it's an extra D8.
Ooh. So it's like a free Zephyr Strike.
Which you can also cast if you want to
Okay.
stack. You have 3 attacks
Yes,
this round.
I think I...
You can do that.
Maybe not right now. So,
You've also
I
got
have that
your.
knee in my
You also
stomach.
have your free hunter's mark from that you can cast without a spell slot from your
Ooh,
favorite
right. Right.
as your bonus
Or
action.
the dragon mark, right?
Yes, well, he has it from his dragon mark, but it's also like a variant ranger feature where he can cast it a
Right.
number of times equal to his wisdom mod, and it doesn't require concentration when he casts it like that,
Right.
which is what makes it good.
So, he's kneed me in the stomach.
Mhm.
I wink at him and cast the Hunter's Mark.
All right, that's a
So-
bonus action to cast, I do believe.
And so I'm gonna rear around and try to bring my fist down on top of his head.
All right, go ahead and roll to hit.
Ooh, man. That's, let's see, 9.
9. Nope, that's not going to do it. But you do have your bonus attack from Dread Ambusher, so you can make one more this turn.
So I go up with a uppercut with my left hand. That's 12.
12, not going to do it. As you try to bring your fist down on top of his head, it like looks like it's going to hit his head, but he just like trips for a second and leans down, and your fist moves straight past him. And as your uppercut comes by, he like spins and does like an airplane maneuver and then stumbles back upright and is like, huh, isn't that the best you can do? And on his turn, he's going to trip and like stumble in a cross step towards you and try to bring his fist down on the top of your head, which he will do, and inflict 4 bludgeoning damage.
Okay. I do believe that leaves me with 18. My math is correct. All right. So he's done that, and so I'm going to use a spell slot and cast Zephyr Strike.
All right. Are you gonna
So-
pop it immediately to get that second attack?
Mhm.
All right. Cool.
So what I do is I'm gonna try, since it says it doesn't do any opportunity attacks or anything. I'm going to jump to his side and then spin around and try to smack him with the back fist on the back of the head.
Okay.
That is a 18.
That hits.
That's a D6 plus strength, correct?
That is a D6 plus strength. Your second attack is the Zephyr Strike attack, so that one has the bonus on it. But this
Okay.
is a D6 plus strength plus an extra D6 from Hunter's Mark.
Ah, okay.
So this would be
So-
2D6. 2D6 plus 2.
Yeah. Alright, so that's a 4 and a 5 plus 2, so that's
11 total.
9. Yeah, or yeah, 11. 11.
All right, that's a good meaty hit. So you get around behind him and just kind of like crack him on the back of the head. And he wasn't expecting that one. He didn't. You kind of played his own game against him, and he was like, "What?"
And now I'm going to put my hands together, since my hands are versatile,
Yes, they are.
and try to just smack him right in the clavicle.
All right. So go ahead and roll to hit. And this is your Zephyr Strike attack. So if it hits, it'll do an extra D8 as well.
9.
9 to hit. It's not gonna do it. As you come around for this
Darn.
one, He's ready for it, and honestly, as your two fists are coming down, he like leans down and puts one hand on the ground, and his back foot swings around, and he like heel kicks your hands out of the way, like. It is his turn. As he's come up from that heel kick, he's gonna like run up and jump, like he's gonna throw a jump kick, and then he's gonna fall to the ground and turn and try to sweep you.
Sweep the leg.
And as he goes to like swing a foot into your leg, his shin just catches against your shin, but it doesn't really do anything. And so he's kind of like crouched on the ground, and he's like, made you look. And he brings that foot up again, and he's gonna try to kick you in the face with it, which he will do for 4 bludgeoning damage.
So, health. So, my turn. I'm going to start off by using a spell slot, another one, to take 10 puffs of my, if that's how that works.
I'm pretty sure. Does it say you can only eat 1 as an action?
Let's see.
Does it specify how many actions it takes to eat a good berry?
It does take 1. Okay, I'm not going to do that then. I don't have time for that for 1.
Yeah.
I'll be for later. So, instead of taking a puff from my cigar, I'll put my hands together again and try to hit him in the side near the hip.
All right, go ahead.
Pretty sure the Goodberry thing would be the use an action.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So that does, to hit, is 21.
Yep, that hits. Go ahead and roll a d8 plus a d6 plus 2.
So that is a 8. 8 damage.
Nice. It's a big meafy chunk. You take a meafy chunk out of him. And he is going to kind of get sent reeling from that. He kind of leans into the hit. He takes it and he's like, and he kind of like stumbles for a sec and like spins around, and it's gonna come kind of karate chop you in the neck. And he will miss as he slides right past and is like, so go ahead, it's back to your turn.
I am gonna take a book out of, or a page out of Failsafe's book, and since his hand has gone past me, I'm gonna still use a 2-hand attack, but smack it
All right,
in between my hands.
all right, go ahead and roll to hit.
That's a 7.
Not gonna do it. As you go to try to do that, like as his hand is by, you go to try to like crush his elbow, but he sees that coming. He turns his arm vertically, and you end up punching his elbow with one hand and just punching his fist with your other hand, and he's just like, bonk.
Ultimate fist bump.
Ultimate fist bump. At this point, he is going to kind of like go for yet another really wonky punch. I'm not really sure where he learned how to fight, but he's wacky. He's going to step forward and kind of miss for a second, and he's going to try to bring his elbow down onto your collarbone. And he will like bring that elbow down with such force that he goes all the way to the ground and slams his elbow into the arena floor. And he did not look like he liked that very much. He did not look like he liked that very much at all.
So since he is on the floor, is it my turn?
Yes.
I'm going to try to, like, football tackle this guy to the ground.
All right, go ahead and make a contested athletics check.
Oof, that's not great. 12. All right. Oh wait, no, it's a 20. Oh no!
I thought you were showing the 2, and I was like,
Yeah, me
oh.
too. Darn, crap. Oh.
So you go to try to tackle this guy, and he like looks off his balance, and as you go to dive at him, he leans back and grabs your shoulders. He implants a foot into your stomach, And he actually just like throws you over the top of him, and you land on your back on the other side of the ring as he leans over onto his hands and bounces back up to his feet and says, oldest trick in the book. As he's going to go over to like the side of the arena to the ropes, he climbs up on it and goes, and he's gonna jump off and try to elbow drop you.
Ouch.
With advantage because you're prone.
Yeah. All right, how much does it do?
52.
7.
Oh.
7. Okay.
Right in the gut, elbow.
All right. How much does it take? Is it like a bonus action to stand up, or is it full action?
Half your
Half
movement.
your movement.
Half your movement.
Have my movement. Okay. Since he's right here, it's fine.
Yeah. Easy.
So
Easy peasy.
I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to, as I'm standing up, I'm going to kind of bring my fists together and smack the ground. That brings me up, and I'm going to try to smack him in the ear.
Go ahead. Roll to hit.
Woo! See, that's a dirty 20.
Yep, that hits. Go ahead and roll. Are you two-handing this? So a D8 plus a D6 plus 2.
All right. So that is a 7, a 4, and a 2. So that's 6, plus 7, a 13.
13. That's very
Right.
good.
Yeah.
How are you looking, Jonah?
I'm at 7 health.
You're looking about as rough as this guy is. You're looking about
Alright.
equivalent roughness. About equivalent roughness as he's going to... He's taken aback. He's like, all right, let's finish this up. And
The crowd is loving this.
oh yeah, no, it's a slugfest for sure. And he punches like right past your ear, and it just like grazes by your ear as he's gonna try to bring his elbow in and try to knock you in the side of the head as well. Which he will not do. You're used to his tricks. As he goes right by, you try to bring the elbow across, but this time you kind of like lean and dodge it as it passes back to your turn.
Okay, so he's done that, and he's here, which is perfect for me to go with a sweeping upwards and try to hit him between the legs.
Nice.
Ring the bell.
That one.
That one.
Yep, that one.
So this is what happens, Jonah. As you drop down and bring your hands up, he is like bringing his elbow across. You've ducked. He sees what you're doing. He jumps and does an aerial and lands over your fist. And he's like, you dirty dog. As he comes back and goes to kick you in the face while you're on your knees. Which he will do. And he will do 5 bludgeoning damage to your nose.
Woo! Ow! Ow!
Granted, this guy's rolling d4s.
Ow!
Actually, the guy Nate fought was also rolling d4s.
These guys are strong.
The guy Nathaniel fought was rolling d6s.
All right.
Yeah, I noticed on that first hit.
Well, that was a d8 actually. That was a d8 because he did both hands. Because he has the same thing that Jonah has.
So
Nate, your
since
guy
I'm
was just
on
a
my
tavern
knees-
brawler. He just had tavern brawler, Nate. He just happened to also be a barbarian.
That's what I thought.
Oh, that makes more sense now.
Yep. Haha, plus 5 damage rolls.
Same, but
So since I'm on
No,
my
to
knee,
damage.
and I've
Oh
just
yeah,
been-
because you have dueling, yeah, but... Sorry, what'd you say,
So
Jonah?
my nose has been pretty much busted. I'm on my knee, so I'm going to try to pivot and get back upright and just bring my hand along with me. Just basically just spin into this guy.
Alright, so you tornado tackle him. Go ahead and roll
spin
a hit.
move.
My
It is
neutral knee
a-
is my spin move.
A dirty 20.
That hits. Go ahead and roll a d6, a d8, and a add plus 2.
Alright, Let's see, that's
Hunter's Mark is a good spell.
9 damage.
9 damage. That is just enough to finish him off. How do you want to do this?
So as I spin around, I'm getting up speed. He doesn't expect me to, this spinny corkscrew upwards, and I catch him like under the arm.
Mhm.
I just want to kind of pick him up off his feet and toss him into the crowd.
Nice. So
This is the boss, right?
hold on. Yes, it is, but as you toss him, so you get him and just poof, you toss him and the crowd is screaming. And as he kind of tumbles back into the ground, boom, crack! You hear a really loud crack as he hits his head on one of the bleachers. And it looks like his head splits open.
Ooh.
And it looks like his brain flies out of his head. It hits the wall and lands on the ground. And then it gets up and starts running away. As you see
I draw
4
my knives.
animal-like legs out of this brain, skittering off into the darkness.
Actually, I don't draw my knives. I get
As
my
everyone in the
rifle.
crowd is freaking out, they're like, "What? Ah!" Like everyone is freaking the heck out at this. As the brain scrambles away.
That's creepy.
That's just,
Is it out of earshot now? Where is it? How far is it?
It is booking it up the stairs, trying to get out of the cellar.
Can I try to chase it?
out the way we came.
Out the way you came, yeah.
Oh crap!
You
I
want to
use
try
my
and get
divinity.
that thing?
Yeah.
You can certainly try.
All right, I'll see what I can do. All right.
It's currently got about a. How fast are y'all? Out of curiosity.
Average.
Half-orc speed. Yeah, average.
Uh,
I don't know how fast a
Okay.
half-orc's
He is
supposed to
currently got. The brain currently has about a 20 feet head start on you as it's running up the stairs.
I want to run after it and try and come on my pin it down.
Okay.
The
It is
courtyard.
moving equally as fast as you.
But if I spent my last key point to Step of the Wind, would
You
it
could
be?
catch up to it, yeah. So you want to try to like trap it to the ground with one of your hands?
Yeah.
Go ahead and just roll to hit.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty good. 24.
All right, yeah, no, that hits. So go ahead and make a contested athletics check using your wisdom for this, because
Magic arms.
monk, yes.
Did I give myself? No athletics proficiency.
No, you just use your wisdom for this though. So just a strength check with your yeah, just make a wisdom check.
Yeah. So it could be, well, 15.
Yep, that succeeds. He got a 6. So brain not strong.
Nice.
As you have him
It's
pinned
not
to
the
the
strongest
ground,
muscle?
he is struggling. He is struggling, but
What was it running with? Did it have like little
it
tentacles?
has like bestial legs coming out of it that look.
Like doggy paws.
At this moment, Nathaniel,
So-
I'm gonna need you to
Normal.
make an intelligence saving throw.
Yes, that is.
A new host.
Plus,
Oh wait, really? Oh crap!
9.
You got a 9?
Yeah.
I never thought this episode would be so intense. How much health do you have?
1.
Ah, how convenient.
Do we catch up to it?
Yeah, as Nathaniel has it pinned down, you guys catch
I
up to
have my,
Vezua very,
my-
very
I have it
easily.
I have it pinned down like 10 feet from me with a magic arm. Though.
And you take 8 psychic damage because you're resistant to it.
Yes.
As you feel it begin to probe your mind, it spikes you. But so, do your arms dissipate when you're unconscious?
I believe so. I don't see any reason why they
Would persist.
wouldn't.
Um,
Arms the astral self.
Oh. Nathaniel, what's your intelligence score?
10. Unusually, they do not say they dissipate when I.
So the thing is, though, you failed the intelligence save.
Ah.
And
So am I?
the thing about that is
Did
that
I get my mind eaten by this thing?
your intelligence stat is reduced to 0.
Oh, so I'm just dead.
And you are stunned until you regain at least 1 point of intelligence.
How would one go about that?
Magic.
Go to the doctor.
Yes. All right.
Can I see that he like just stunned my buddy here?
Well, you can see that there's kind of like wispy purple tendrils like exuding from this brain like towards Vezua, and he just like collapses on the ground, unresponsive.
I punched the brain really hard.
Yeah, the brain
And
is
I
still
also shoot
approaching.
my
Vezua.
longbow.
You pull out your longbow.
Yeah,
Yeah, so go
And
ahead.
I just go to just.
Both of you make attack rolls against it.
Let's see. 13.
13 just hits.
All right, so that is a.
It does not
What
hit.
was?
eight.
Well, guys, keep in mind it has range on its thing. Because it got me.
It has a range of 10 feet, exactly.
2 damage.
Nice. So you
I'm rolling so badly.
you fire an arrow into the brain and it hisses at you, and it looks at the surroundings and it looks as like people are freaking out. And the guy that Nathaniel had fought actually, Dovram, begins to come forward with his knuckles, and he's like stalking towards it, and the brain looks around and just skitters away.
I'm gonna go over to Vezua and try to pick him up and like shake him awake.
Unresponsive. First off, he's unconscious. So actually, Vezua, you don't have to make death saves if you're not in combat, right?
I don't think so. No.
It depends, but I don't think not in this case.
Yeah, I'm not
My
gonna make you make death
HP
saves.
has been reduced to 0.
Yeah, your HP is currently 0, so you are technically like bleeding out. You have not yet been stabilized. So
Hang on, I have good berries.
Just
So,
stuff it down.
yeah, I think you
I,
or
uh,
Nate could probably do something about this.
I take out a cigar, or actually my cigar, and I put it in his lips and kind of like blow in the other end of the cigar, try to get him to
All right.
take in the good berry smoke.
All right, Vezua, you
No,
regain
no.
1 point of HP. And as you kind of shake him,
Intelligence.
he has regained HP, but he does not yet appear to be like he's stable. He has a point of HP, but just his eyes are kind of glazed over. And
I'm alive. I'm just in a coma right
yeah, yep,
So
comatose.
I pick him up and turn to failsafe and say, "Oh, what should we do with him?"
Find the thing, the critter. Where did it go?
It ran up the stairs.
Well, I'm gonna chase it then.
As you run up the stairs, you bust out of the cellar door. You look around, and you just see the former very mustachioed man, kind of just like sitting in the corner, crying and rocking. He's like,
I shout, "Where did it go?"
he just points out the open door. There's like a hole torn in the bottom of the door, and it's kind of like dissolved. You can see like a diffuse purple smoke that has dissolved the small hole in the bottom of the door.
I carry Vezua over my shoulder, then my short sword.
I go after it.
As
I come
you,
up the
I'd
stairs.
both make for me investigation checks to see if you can find any traces of it.
3. These dice are going to dice jail.
18.
18. You look around, and you can almost kind of see like a path of where it might have skittered along, and you like follow it out into Lower Dura. You know, you're running around, and you see like there's a bit where like there's kind of like a group of like shady people hanging out. They're like, they see you come along, And you know, they're surrounded by like booze and other mysterious substances. It's not a very pleasant place, and some people are passed out, some people are just kind of staring at you, and they're like, "What do you want?"
Where did it go?
They're like, "You're gonna have to be more specific."
Little purple thing crawling around, looks like a brain.
Looks like a brain. Beats me.
Very useful. Is he... Can I vibe check this guy?
Insight check him.
Uh, 3.
You're not sure if he's being serious or if he just really doesn't like you.
Any
I know
other
what I'm gonna do.
indication of where it might have
I'm gonna
gone?
go up. I'm going to gesture for failsafe to carry Vezua. I'm gonna draw both of my knives and hold
I
it
pick him
against
up.
his throat.
He's
So I'm gonna X my knives and hold it to his throat and just say, "Tell me or you die."
He's gonna look at you, Jonah, and as you look at him, his eyes tint purple slightly, and he's just gonna say,
Uh-oh.
"Too late."
I'm gonna roll to attack this guy.
All right, go ahead.
That is a... Let's see, with my knives. 13.
13
Oh,
hits.
12. 12.
12 hits.
Alright, so that is a d6. Plus strength. Ooh, max roll. Why didn't I do this good earlier? Okay, so that is a 7. No, 8. That's
You
probably too
slit across his throat, and he begins to gag as you hear a loud crack in the back of his head as the brain begins to crawl out, and it leaps off into the crowd as the people scatter, and they're like, "Ugh," as it continues to run.
I shout at it and say freeze, and I cast command.
All right.
That's a whiz save.
Wisdom save against.
12.
Oh, man!
Surprisingly, the brain is less wise than you would think. But wait, you said the DC was 12?
12.
12? The
Yeah.
brain like halts for a moment and then keeps going.
Can we catch up to it in that time where it pauses?
You can get close to it, but it is faster than both of you and is currently dashing. It is also very small, and it is dark here. I'm pretty sure Jonah has dark vision, but I believe you do not.
Yeah.
Fail safe.
I do not. No.
Warforged don't have it?
We have enough benefits.
I think they'd have that.
Well, you have the bow there, Jonah.
You can go ahead and roll to hit it as it's running away if you want.
Alright, I am going to try to shoot it with my bow. Yeah, get my dice out. Yeah. So I draw a black arrow and shoot at it, and that is a 13 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. That's a D8 with your longbow. A D8 plus your dexterity, which I believe is +2 also.
3.
3. Yeah, alright, you fire it. It doesn't really make a noise, but you kind of hear like a juicy noise as the arrow sticks out of it, and it continues to skitter off into the dark.
I just kind of after it.
As you sit there, you hear a rumble of thunder as rain begins to fall. As you stand in
this
the
is sad.
dark with Vezua in a coma over Failsafe's shoulder. That's where we're going to end the episode.
Frick.
That's intense.